All right, so welcome to square roots. This one, I know we haven't used, I didn't mention your multiplication chart, and a lot of the other ones this week, it kind of goes without saying that you can or should be using them. But this one, it's going to be helpful, and I'll probably add it in here as we go. All right, what does this mean? Well, looking at this, if I want the square root of 16, so the square root of 16 is 4, and when you find the square root, it basically breaks out of that bracket or that root symbol. All right, so if we look at the square root of 36, now the biggest rule is the negative can't be on the inside. Of the square root, okay? It's just not allowed. If you see that, then you can see no solution. That would equal no solution, no real solution, it's called. Okay? But basically, we're basically think about this as the opposite of. So if I take the square root of 36 from my so it's 6, but it's the opposite of 6, and the opposite of 6 is negative 6. Okay? For a fraction, you want to just simplify the top and the bottom separately. So we want this to become the square root of 64 and the square root of 121. If we follow 64 up, we get 8. If we follow 121 up, we get 11. That doesn't simplify, and you are done. If we look at this decimal, we would be looking at, so this is going to be 25, but it's going to be okay, I believe I found a typo. There was a pause. I had to pause you, but we're going to skip this one for now. We'll talk about what happens with decimals on our live. So 400, we're looking at our multiplication chart. That's going to be 20. Here we want to do the opposite of the square root of 1 and the square root of 361. It's just going to have a negative out in front because basically we want the opposite of some positive number, right? So it's going to be 1 on top because the square root of 1 is just 1. And 361, if you look, 19. So this is the opposite of 1/19, which is negative 1/19. If we look at this one, we get the opposite, the square root of 225 on top, square root of 100 on the bottom. We get 15 over 10, but remember, we're not done. We always have to simplify if we can. So we divide both of these by 5, and we get 3 over 2. And then this one for 900, again, if it's bigger than your chart, like what do? Well, here's the thing. It's going to work out somehow. So I know right off the bat that, really I have 9 and I have 100, right? I could rewrite 900 as 9 and 100, which are both on that list. So 9 would simplify to 3, 100 would simplify to 10, and 3 times 10 gives me 30. And again, if you were looking at that bigger multiplication chart, which might be helpful for this, it's going to be on there. So the square root of 900 is 30, but we want the opposite of that, which gives us negative 30. So really you're just looking at this multiplication chart and utilizing it to figure out the square roots. Now, sometimes it'll ask us to estimate, and that's what we're going to look at next. So when we look at this multiplication chart that I've given you, we kind of talked about it already, but the ones that are highlighted, those are your perfect square numbers. So those were created by multiplying a number, any number, by itself. So if I look at, say, 7 times 7, I'm going to get 49. If I look at 17 times 17, I'm going to get 289. The way you would get back to the number that is multiplied by itself, though, like the opposite of addition is subtraction, the opposite of multiplication is division, the opposite of squaring something, like 7 squared or 17 squared, is taking the square root of something, okay? So if I take the square root of x squared, that just equals x, which means the square and square root are opposite and cancel each other out. Okay, so jumping back here, I want to find 16, and you either travel up or you travel down, or across, I'm sorry, and you'd find the number that is either on the top of the column or to the left, which is 4. Chart. Here's 36, I go up and I get 6. Like here, if we wanted to find 625, it's actually not on here. This goes bigger. If you looked at your 30 by 30, it would be on there. On there is going to, okay. I know that 27 is not on this chart in the diagonal that is our square roots, which is that yellow diagonal. Basically, the two numbers that are 25 and 36. But 25 simplifies down to 5 and 36 simplifies down to 6 because we're talking about the square roots. So jumping back, chart is between 49 and 64. So basically it asks us to estimate the square root by writing the two integers that the square root falls between, and then circle the integer that the square root is closer to and estimate it to the nearest tenth. So we know that we have a couple things going here. If you look at the square root of 27, if we try to do the same method we did before, it's not going to work. I know that this is really between the square root of 25 and the square root of 36. That's my low and my high. This number has to fall somewhere in between these, okay? Now, the square root of 25 turns into a 5, which we just said, and the square root of 36 turns into a 6. So you know this is somewhere between 5 and 6. All the numbers, let's think about the numbers to the nearest tenth of any number. So any number, point any number, so some number. What can go in this line? Well, we've talked about this with rounding before. It can be a 0, a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5, a 6, a 7, an 8, and a 9. It can't be 10 because we can't fit 2 digits in there. Now, 5 is right down the middle, right? So if something is 0.5, that's half. If I have 0.6, 0.7, 0.8, 0.9, that's getting closer to the bigger one. And if I have 0.0, 1, 2, 3, or 4, that's being to the smaller one. So let's look at this example. I know that if it's between 5 and 6, it's got to be 5 point something. It can't be 6 point something because then you wouldn't be between 5 and 6 anymore. If you have between $5 and $6, you have $5 and some amount of cents. Now, we have to decide which one the 27 is closer to. So is the number 27 closer to 25 or 36? And it's definitely closer to 25 because it's only 2 away, whereas 36, it's almost 9 away. So we're looking at probably being down here somewhere because we're pretty close to that smaller number. So 5.0, 5.1, 5.2. I think it's probably right around 5.2, and that's going to be my best guess. Now, your best guess might not be exactly my best guess, but ultimately I'm going to make sure that as long as you're on the right side of 0.5 and you're kind of there, then you're good to go. Okay, let's do the next one. So 35, we're going to ignore the negative for a minute. We just know that's going to come down here and be negative. 35 is still, if you look, between the square root of 25 and the square root of 36. 35 is between 25 and 36. So this number is still between 5 and 6. So we know it's still 5 point something, but we especially know now it's negative because we wanted the opposite. Now, 35. Is 35 closer to 25 or 36 as a number? 35 is really, really close to 35 is really, really close to 36, which means that it's probably going to be up here. And probably not even that it's probably just right here, either 8 or 9. So you can either put negative 5.8 or negative 5.9, and I'm going to go with negative 5.9. All right, so trying the next one. We have 62. 62 from my multiplication. So root 49, root 64, that simplifies to 7 and 8. It's going to be 7 point something. It's never going to be the number point something because if you're talking about a decimal that's less than 8. 62 is pretty close to 64, so I might make this 7.8, and I'm done. The negative, I'm just going to bring down and put it in front. This is going to be 0.49 and 0.64. That makes it between 7 and 8 again, but now, so it's 7 point something. 51 is way closer to the 49, so it's 7.1 or 7.2. I'm going to go with 7.1. All right, 183. 183 is between 169 and 196. Again, you're only looking at those numbers on your diagonal. That's 13 and 14, so it's going to be 13 point something. 183, you have to decide which one it's closer to. It's pretty much in the middle. And if it's pretty much in the middle, it doesn't lean to one side or the other. This is where you want to use that 0.5 because it's pretty much right smack dab in the middle. All right, we're going to bring down the negative. I do that at the beginning so I don't forget at the end. And then 123 is between 121 and 144. That's going to be between 11 and 12, and it's going to be negative 11 point something. And 123 is really, really close to 121, so it's probably going to be 11.1 or 11.2. I'm going to go with 11.1. All right, 195 is still between 169 and 196. That's going to be between 13 and 14. And 195 is super close to 196, so it's going to be 13 point something, and this is definitely going to be 13.9. As close as we can go without it being 14. Negative comes down. 214 is between 196 and 225. That's going to be 14 and 15. It's going to be negative 14 point something. 214 is pretty much, again, right in the middle. Maybe it's a little bit closer to the 225, so maybe I make it 14.6 or 14.7. But it's pretty close to that middle point. All right, so that's all. Go ahead and review. Try some on your own. Come to me with questions, and I will see you soon.